Hyper-focused on Fleetwood Mac, my roommate's dead, fungus fermentation, another Wonka reboot, JFK's assassination. It's not my favorite topic, just my brain's current fixation. Hyper-focus.
Hyperfocus, a neurodivergent podcast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hyperfocus, a neurodivergent podcast. I am here with New York City-based comedian and musician Blaise Vacca. Hello, Blaise.
Hi, Virginia.
Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me today.
I'm very excited to get into our topics in a bit, and yours is Italian TikTok influencer that goes by the only guy from the 60s.
The only 60s guy in the world.
The only 60s guy in the world. I literally looked this up too and was on his page. And then I was like, oh no, now I'm going to get fed his stuff all the time.
Yes.
And we'll get to that in a bit. And then also later, my hyperfocus, which is the books I'm reading right now and juggling 3, which is a lot for me.
Wow.
But before we get into that, I'd like to start the podcast off with you, Blaise, talking a little bit about your experience being neurodivergent.
Oh, word. Where to start? I was digitizing some like old home videos. And I don't know if you've ever done this, but it's so sweet and also enlightening to watch yourself as a little one and be like, oh, like I knew I felt a little different, but I also like moved and like interacted a little differently in like a sweet way. I have ADHD. I don't know. I probably some other stuff, but I'm never convinced. Doesn't matter who's telling me. I'm not convinced. But ADHD, I was gifted in a hereditary manner. My dad surely has it. I thought he was joking. I thought he was saying like, oh, I'm a little ADD, but like, no, he like got diagnosed as an adult.
Oh, he did?
So did I. Yeah.
That's so... I feel like that's rare. Was
Yes.
he diagnosed before you?
Yes.
Okay.
Years before.
Wow.
But I think, a lot of times it's like, there's like the stigma and he didn't want to talk about it. And like, he found ways of like adapting his situation, like, because we have a lot of strengths with it too. Like, you have a lot of energy, like we have a lot of ideas, we make a lot of connections other people wouldn't make. We get hyper focused on things, which works really well for like the type of work that he did.
What type of work did he do?
Worked in local government. So he was utterly focused on, he would drive around the streets and like find where garbage wasn't picked up and like personally call and like that's like just not what usually happens. But he's like, I'm not going to sleep until everything is perfect.
I get it.
Yeah. So
and
I
like,
get
thank
that
God, that's a very useful and helpful thing for everybody.
I was going to say, I feel like that's the dream, is to find a sort of hyper focus that like you can put this laser focus into your career and like helping people in some way. I think we do. Like, we make people laugh. And you know what? If we're on stage or we're in the office, there is a lot to be said for like a little levity in the office.
Yeah.
We need it, all of us. It's so funny because I'm like, we don't know any other experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't always love it about myself because like, oh gosh, one of the things I love to really zone in on is like organizational videos, specifically cable management. I love cable management, but like don't ask to see my cables, It's like, oh God, I just wish I had a little follow through. But also like you could throw either of us into an improv scene and like we're gonna like pick up the connections and, support each other on the fly real quick. So like it's an interesting experience. And also I'm like, I so love doing this type of creative work. I say, because then we get to connect with people who are like us.
Yeah, that's true. That's like the one thing. It's like I wish this, or I wish I could do that, or I get frustrated with XYZ. But at the end of the day, I always like trust myself. Like whatever situation I am in, or something happens, I trust myself to handle it.
Yes.
And I think maybe that is because like we're good at making connections, like you said.
I was like overthinking coming here, of course. I'm like trying to plan, which I don't know about you, but I'm like, that's kind of hard for me. But then I'm like, I always find relief knowing I actually kind of thrive like on my feet. And like, that's what we do. I'm like, we're going to banter, as they say in England.
Yes. Like, banter. Well, are you ready to get into your hyper focus?
Sure, as ready as I will ever be.
Yeah. Okay. You told me about this person and it's, oh my God. The only guy from the 60s in the world. I'm going to get it wrong every time.
It's okay. And once it's in there, it really sticks because he says it a very specific way. I'm the only 60s guy in the world.
I'm the only 60s guy in the world, and he is an Italian TikToker.
Yeah.
And I'll let you explain his deal.
Okay, so one thing about me is that I've installed an app to block TikTok on my phone because I have no self-control. So now I just see lesser reels. It's not helpful. So I have two apps. I have one app that blocks TikTok all the time, and then another one that blocks. I don't pay for the version where I can block everything, so I just block like the fun apps like Instagram and stuff during the workday.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
wait, what are these apps called?
Okay, I think one sec is the one that blocks the app all the time, the TikTok, and then the other one. This is actually good for the podcast to know. I should. Oh, Opal is the other one.
Okay. I use one called Freedom.
Freedom, that's nice.
But you can disable it really easily.
Opal, it's like you can disable it for 15 minutes at a time, and it asks you to breathe, which it's not enough.
Yeah.
So now I get lesser, quote unquote, lesser reels. I could only block a certain amount of apps. So one of them that I said, I'll just leave this one be, is Facebook, because I'm like, this is not even good. Mm-hmm. Now I know too much about Facebook. Like, I feel like I've watched the entirety of Young Sheldon in like clips on Facebook. I don't know why. Why did they think I want Young Sheldon? But then they're kind of right. Like,
yeah,
I love the mom. Okay, anyway, we're not going to talk about that anymore. Laurie Metcalf's daughter? Like, she slays. She's really good.
Is in Young Sheldon?
Yeah. And have I watched The Big Bang Theory? No.
I was about to ask. That's the spinoff of The Big Bang Theory, right?
Yeah, and it's so much better than The Big Bang Theory. Anyway, I have ADHD.
No, I was just going to, not to divert, I was just watching a documentary about Charlie Sheen. And then, because I didn't realize this guy that wrote 2.5 Men also wrote The Big Bang Theory.
That actually really tracks to me spiritually.
And I'm forgetting his name now. Chuck Lorre.
Let's go.
Wrote 2.5 Men and then also Big Bang Theory.
I mean,
and so whatever his sauce is.
He's got some sauce. But anyway, as a little treat, when I have my 15 minutes on Opal or when the workday is done, I will watch Instagram Reels. And I came across this Italian guy who has the catchphrase, who I'm sure maybe his main audience is TikTok. But I don't know because I don't allow myself on it.
See, I looked him up on TikTok because I deleted Instagram. I have Instagram off of my phone right now because I spend too much time on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I've somehow trained myself to not care about TikTok.
Good.
I will go through a month of being into it again, and then I'll be like, that's it. And then I'm off of it for a very long time. Well, okay, so on TikTok, he has 312,000 followers. And over 17 million views. So I think TikTok might be his main thing. Like he has a pinned TikTok of 63 million views.
Yep.
But also, it makes sense to switch over to Reels too. And I don't know how you make money off of this, but I'm sure he does.
I'm telling you, today I said, let me do a little refresher. On my way here, I'm going to look up the only 60s guy in the world. But here's the deal. His handle is not the only 60s guy in the world.
No, it's not.
It sure isn't. It's SONOSOLOFIL.
And that's on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Okay, interesting, because his handle on TikTok is different.
Branding king.
His handle is Ilragazzo, ILRAGAZZO, Annie, ANNI 60. So year 60. I don't know what Il Ragazzo, that might be the only man. I took
that might be the only 60s guy
the
because
only 60s
60
guy,
in there.
60 and then Ani, I think is, I took Italian and I don't remember any of it except for Mi dispiace, which means I'm sorry.
I should remember that. I'm Italian and I don't know Italian, so I can just tell people Mi dispiace.
I was on a trip in college to Sicily and I got too drunk and threw up in the hotel room and didn't know what to do, so I left a note that said Mi dispiace and then left on a class trip, and then I got in big trouble by the hotel.
So, you said sorry.
I did. I said sorry. Okay, so you watch him on Reels, or he found you on, did you see him on TikTok and then he found you on Reels?
The first few times I saw him, I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then he kept coming up, and it's always the same catchphrase. He's always doing like the grease, combing his hair back.
He looks like Danny Zuko.
He does. And I mean, I'm kind of enamored. Like, what is this guy's deal? I opened the app today because I was like, I want to do a little refresh before I come on here. And I'm like, man, I hope I can find him because I don't know his handle. Because I know it's not the only 60s guy in the world. And you're not going to believe my good fortune. I open it up and immediately he's the first one that shows up. And I feel like I have to tell you what I saw because it changes everything.
Okay, what'd you see?
I open it up and he's like, hello, First of all, he looks beautiful. He has makeup on. He doesn't usually have makeup on. He's like, I'm the only 60s guy in the world, and I'm gay. Okay, what? This is what I love about the 60s guy. Before I came on here, I considered reaching out to him, asking him questions, maybe even seeing if you or he would be about coming on and being part of an interview. But I decided part of his allure, some could say, is that he is so full of mystery. I don't know how much of this is real. I don't know how much of it is an act. And for context, this is a real bombshell. I'm gay. And I think he also said, I'm beautiful. Also true. He looked great. Because he just recently said, I'm the only 60s guy in the world. And I'm about to become a father.
Yeah, I saw that one too when I was doing my research.
And I'm the only 60s guy in the world. And I'm about to marry the only 60s woman in the world.
Okay, I saw her too.
And she was literally in the video.
Yeah.
And then he said, like, and I am married too. So they're married.
Okay. Well, maybe he's bisexual.
Bye.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, why didn't you say that? But I mean, what are words but futile devices, as Sufjan Stevens says?
No, the comments, I skimmed the comments too, and everyone was like, yesterday he said he was married, now he's having a kid. Wow. Okay, because all he does is he's in like a gravel driveway.
Yes.
A home in it. I'm assuming he's in Italy.
Yes.
And he's dressed like Danny Zuko or a greaser.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Sometimes he's dressed like Elvis. And then he says his tagline. And then he usually does a dance that involves like his knees.
Yeah, I don't know how he keeps it up. He like does the dance where like, you know, like the Disney dance where they put the knees in the middle. If you watch Demi Lovato like in Camp Rock, she does that sometimes. He like does that, but also kind of squats, and then tries to do the thing where he like, I don't know if it's like Michael Jackson or like Grease, but where they like stand on their toes.
No, that's Michael
always
Jackson.
Falls, and he always keeps it in the video. He falls like Scooby-Doo style and goes like whoa, and like tries to keep it up. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh haha, oops, that must have been a mistake. But it's like multiple times. I'm like, I love it, but I also am like, yeah, I think he leaves me with a lot of questions, and I really like that.
Well, because I tried to look up if like anyone had written anything about him, and there's nothing. There's literally nothing at all. Like truly zero.
There's no investigative journalism on this man.
No one has interviewed him. No one has done anything. It's just you search it, and it's just links to his TikToks.
Almost every single one of his reels starts out, I'm the only 60s guy in the world. And it's like, in the comments, like people are interacting with him. So like this is hitting each time, but like sometimes he'll drop some random lore like we talked about. I mean, I don't want to get into this because again, I'm like, I don't know what this means, and like I almost asked him, but then I was like, no, this is actually maybe none of my business. There's some things in life that maybe we're not meant to know about. And he just randomly dropped like a black screen and was like, Jesus is coming. I was like, whoa, evangelical 60s guy in the world? Like, and then also, I'm not a fashion historian, but isn't that 50s style?
It is.
Wow.
Well, okay, because he's basically channeling like Grease. Like he literally, his wife, quote unquote, I don't know if she's actually his wife or not, the 60s girl, who she wasn't dressed 60s in that video, by the way.
She wasn't.
She was dressed like now. They have a video of them together just as Danny and Sandy.
Yes.
And so I did look up what year Grease was supposed to take place, and it's 1958 to 59.
Yeah.
And then there's a different video I saw where he's singing a song from the 70s. I think it was the Bee Gees, probably.
Oh, okay, good taste.
So he's kind of like skipping the whole era that he claims to be.
I feel like he really is doing whatever he
wants. Well, I scrolled, at least on his TikTok, to like the very early TikToks to see.
Yeah.
And he's still dressed like Danny Zuko. But he's not doing, like, he's showing his fits.
Yeah.
He's dressed as a greaser. But it doesn't start with I'm the only 60s guy in the world. That comes a little bit later.
I don't know where that came from.
Well, I think it could just be the TikTok thing of, like, whatever goes viral for you and, like, whatever sticks.
It is just like an earworm, like a stim thing for me that's so fun. But there's another mystery about him, which is that he's adopted and he's trying to find his birth parents.
Wait, that comes out in the reels?
That's what some of his latest reels. I don't know. He gives very limited information, so it's kind of hard to help him. But everyone is very encouraging in the comments.
Everyone loves him in the comments. Everyone's such a big fan. Do you have any theories why this content was fed to you?
That's such a good question. My algorithm is deranged. It's because I really like things that are odd. So how did 60s guys get in there? I will say I only know one other friend who's ever gotten this guy, and she likes equally as kooky stuff as me.
Okay.
So I think I maybe just have shown enough interest in like kooky characters that they're like, this person's gonna like 60s guy. And they were right.
Are you ready to talk about my hyperfocus, which is the books I'm reading now?
Yes.
I love reading when I can do it.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of funny right now because I have 3 books, which is too many books. And this kind of just happened where I have one on Libby.
I love Libby.
Well, so actually it does feel like a nice little trifecta. I'm currently reading fiction.
Nice.
A book on spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And then a book on a nonfiction book.
Oh, that's perfect.
On technology.
Nice.
Or social media. And okay, so I'll do all 3. So the fiction book is called Good Material by Dolly Alderton.
Okay.
And I've read one of her books before that was like a memoir. This is fiction. She's British. This book is about a breakup, essentially. But she does such a good job of writing for people my age, which is my 30s. I feel like she encapsulates it well. These like life things that people go through, and maybe you don't totally fit into that. Society is moving in this direction, and then all of a sudden, but you're kind of like over here on the side, but you still are a part of it, but a little bit off of it. And she like, I feel like she articulates that really well. The memoir that she wrote had like this really lovely section about just like her best friend finding like the love of their life, and I guess maybe grieving with the shift in that relationship, which is so real and something that doesn't feel like people talk about all that often. And so this book is about a breakup, and it's from the perspective of the guy. It almost hit like too close to home in a way that the main character is a comedian.
Oh my goodness.
Who like did Edinburgh, and then I'm going to judge the fuck out of this, and like she writes it very well. Like she knows the scene probably, and it's all from his perspective, and except for the very end where it switches to the ex's perspective, and it's like amicable, but he's like upset and fixated and all of these things, and it's just like it's a good, well-written book, and I'm 50 pages away from finishing it. He's 35, and at first he's like the only guy in his friend group to be single, and like some of his friends are having kids. His best friend is having his 3rd kid, and it's that feeling too of like trying to get together with your friends, but they all have their life stuff, and they can't all come to you like they did in your 20s, and it's very relatable in that way. I'm almost done with that, and I have 9 days left. So that's the thing with Libby, the countdown.
Yeah.
And I have like 9 days left, and I feel really good about this. I'm going to finish in time.
Yeah, definitely.
And when I finish a book early on Libby, that means I actually liked it. Because usually it's like a crunch for the finish line.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not one of those people. Someone said that like people that finish books they don't like don't trust themselves or something. I don't know, something. And I was like, no, it's just I invested like enough time to read half of this that I want to finish it so that I can confidently say I hated it. Yeah,
that's true. It could turn around. I was going to ask if you did audiobooks or the ebook.
So the other book that got re-added into the rotation is I have audio and physical.
That's the dream.
Because I wanted to focus. I wanted to lock into this book.
Yeah.
Because usually with Libby, most of the books, there's a long wait.
Yes.
And so you have to read it or else you have to wait another month or 2 to finish it. The next book that I'm reading, that I started reading literally in like December, is called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer.
I think I have that on my Goodreads.
It is very good. It's very good. I listen to his podcast.
What is it? What is his podcast?
I think it's just called the Michael Singer podcast.
Word.
And I'll go on like a long walk and listen to his podcast, and he's just some like old white guy. It's all spirituality stuff.
Yeah.
All spirituality stuff. It's just generally the same message. It's just kind of like, how do you like hearing it?
Yeah.
And so I got the audiobook for this book on Libby.
Oh,
and then
that's
I
great.
ordered the physical copy because I was like, I want to dedicate this full attention to this book that's going to change my life.
Does he narrate it?
No, someone else does.
Okay,
I wish he did, though. I like how he talks. The audiobook is only 6 hours long.
That's not bad.
I've had this out on Libby. So what is it, 6 months now? 7 months? I was like 30% of the way done. And because I think for this book, I'm like so precious about it. I'm like, I need to clear time and spit, and I really need to focus. And now my time's running out on the book and someone else wants it.
I hate when they're like, all right, when somebody's in line. It's like, okay.
But actually makes me feel a little bit better that somebody else is now going to be reading the same book as me, because I just kept renewing it for months and months and months.
Oh, that's good. I didn't realize. Wow.
Yeah.
I never get the chance to do that because usually there's like a couple of people.
I've been renewing it for months. I just had it.
Yeah.
And have it. So now it's forcing me to finish it.
That's good.
So a couple nights ago, I sat down and cleared the space because I get pens, I get highlighters. Like
I love that.
It's so marked up. I would love to be like the most unbothered person in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do. And it's basically a book on just like how to get out of your head and how, you're not your thoughts. When like something happens that like hits a block, quote unquote, that sets your mind off. Like that block is it just hits something that happened to you in the past. Like that's all it is. Ideally, the bigger work is to release whatever those blocks are. But in the moment, it's like acknowledge it and then like let it go. Like let it go right then and there, because otherwise it's going to occupy you for a while. It's not worth it at the end of the day because you're worrying about something that already happened. You can't do anything about it. Or you're worrying about something that might happen. It hasn't happened yet. A lot of that. But there's this one quote that I cracked up laughing at this. It's just basically how like we suffer constantly because of our mind, our thoughts. That constant anxious inner talk is a form of suffering. And then this line, that is the pain of having to think about yourself all the time. And that made me laugh so hard because it is so painful to think about yourself all the time. And I do it constantly. Yeah. All I do is think about myself. And it was just so funny to frame it that way. But the thing is, when I'm reading it, I'm like, this book is awesome. And I'm so engaged. And then I put it down and I like forget.
Of course.
All of it. And then you have to pick it back up again and remind yourself and then put it,
They say things like this are a practice. And like, that resonates so hard because you've got to practice all the time.
Constantly. And I get frustrated because I'm like, sometimes I just don't feel like doing it. But then what's the other? The other half of that is that then you suffer. Then you're trapped in your mind all the time. So that is the way, but it's hard. It's so simple, but like so easy at the same time, but so difficult. I'm on a mad dash. So that's due tomorrow at noon.
How much you've...
I've listened to 58%.
Oh, you could do it.
Yeah, I can do it. I have like 2 hours left.
Word.
So I'm going to knock that out tonight. Thank you, Libby, for putting this pressure on me. Even though while I'm doing it, I love it, but getting myself to do it is so difficult.
Yes.
And then the third book is called The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt, Haidt. Also, I do have to caveat, I really try hard to not read books by white men. I acknowledge I'm currently reading 2 right now, but I generally try not to because I feel like I did enough of that in high school. Yeah. I just had to get that out there. But The Anxious Generation, How the Great Rewiring of Childhood is Causing an Epidemic of Mental Illness. This book is from the library. I had it on Libby. Yeah. I got a very small part of the way through. Yeah. And then Libby took it back. So I'm waiting to get it back on Libby, and I forgot I had also reserved it with the library. So I just picked this up from the library. So maybe I can finish like the hard copy of it within 30 days or whatever. Well, that's my problem with Libby too, is I think the library gives you 30 days. Maybe they changed it, but Libby only gives you 20 days. Oh, word. I need a month. To read a book. I can't read a book in 20 days. I know. Unless I have time, unless I'm unemployed. Like when I'm unemployed, I read so much. It's great. I love not having a job. But when I'm busy, I don't read and it sucks. So anyways, The Anxious Generation, I'm not that far through it yet. But basically they're saying they noticed a shift in children around 2010, 2012. And that was the start of smartphones with social media and front-facing cameras. Oh. So it wasn't as much like...
We got in there early.
I swear it just missed us. But obviously it still affects us. Yeah. But not like I didn't get Instagram though until I graduated college. But my friends had it. But it also was different when it was. It sure was. And it's not just like America. They have studies like pretty much any developed nation that has the data, like Canada, the UK. It's like across the board. There's one section I wanted to read. There's a sudden change that happened on many college campuses around 2014. Figure 3.2 shows how the distribution of mental challenges changed as the first members of Gen Z arrived and the last members of the millennial generation began to graduate. The only disorders that rose rapidly were psychological disorders. Those disorders were overwhelmingly anxiety and depression. As soon as Gen Z arrived on campus, college counseling centers were overwhelmed. The previously exuberant culture of millennial students in discover mode gave way to a more anxious culture of Gen Z students in defend mode. books, words, speakers, and ideas that caused little or no controversy in 2010 were, by 2015, said to be harmful, dangerous, or traumatizing. America's residential universities are not perfect, but they are among the safest, most welcoming, and inclusive environments ever created for young adults. Yet campus culture changed around 2015, not just in the United States, but also in British and Canadian universities. How could such a big change happen so quickly and internationally? So I got the dates wrong. It's closer to 2014.
2014.
That shift happened. And so again, I'm just like early phases of this book, but mainly I'm just so fascinated by what our phones do to us all the time. What this author is like learning is that as technology has gone on, the world is safer, but perceived to be more dangerous. Kids are more monitored from going like outside or like out in the world, but less monitored online. And it should be the opposite. It all kind of, I just find it really interesting how it all ties into itself. And like, obviously it did just miss us.
I feel like I had a little bit of it.
It still hits though. Yeah.
I have like a combo of like, I went to an art school and I needed to stay in an extra year. So I graduated 2017. And our counseling center was actually impossible to get an appointment with because all of the students were anxious and depressed. Like there was a wait list, just like Libby. And there also was that culture of like black and white thinking. I think Tumblr, everyone was Tumblr, like the discourse was happening in like our little brains. I thought that was so interesting when you said how you talked about danger. The book talked about danger. We're protecting ourselves from learning how to have conflict with each other.
That's, I think, what the biggest shift is that traditionally people like spent more time, especially like when they're in their developmental years, amongst peers and within their like immediate culture.
Yeah.
And that's how you kind of learned how to be a person, I guess, is like people in your immediate surroundings. And now people are looking to like who has the most followers on Instagram. People are checking out the only 60s guy in the world as they're like, that's who I aspire to be, which in a way, yes, because it's like he has a lot of followers and he has a lot of views, and that now in our culture is deemed as something like important. The biggest voices on the internet are what's influencing people as opposed to like people in like their own communities, which also is fascinating to me because some of those people with big voices are not that great.
Yeah. I mean, I think to get big, right? If you're going to be super successful in a system that is like this, the system rewards when you're not the best person sometimes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I've seen so many people sell out for a following.
Yeah.
Or just have like bad takes over and over and over again to appease like a certain group of people. And like that's their following now. And I'm like, I think that's lame, but also that's one way to be successful, and I get it from that perspective. But again, I'm nowhere near done with this book. I did watch like a brief interview with the author, and his kind of like solution to this is keep your kids off of social media apps until they're like 16, because it's a brain thing. And as a trade-off for limiting online freedom, you give them more freedom in the world. When I was a kid, like my friends and I like hung out at McDonald's all the time. I feel like a boomer being like, back in my day. Like, I think if I had social media at that age, I would have been absolute toast. Because you were saying how like all of the therapists and stuff at your college were like booked up, and like I was in therapy before I went to college. I was
early adopters.
Adopters. I already had a bunch of issues. So that's the third book I'm reading. Obviously, Untethered Soul first, knock that out. Has to be done by tomorrow. 50 pages left of good material. And then we have The Anxious Generation.
This is inspiring.
Yes. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's a big book. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you for chatting with me.
Blaise Vacca is a New York City-based comedian and musician, and you can follow them at Blaise Seltzer on Instagram. We'll link that in the show notes. You should also check out their EP called The Earth Spins, and that is available wherever you like to stream music. And also you can follow this podcast at Hyperfocus Comedy for updates on episodes and live shows. There's also a Patreon to support if that's your thing. And thank you so much for listening. I'm Virginia Dickens, and this has been Hyperfocus, a neurodivergent podcast.